Hello and welcome back to my Eruption of Shame, my monthly and now twice monthly series about adding new games onto my mountain of shame. So obviously you don't get a Mountain of Shame without buying and obtaining a lot of games. So basically this version is one I tried last month. It didn't do as well as I was expecting, but the idea is that we look through the Kickstarter games that I backed, okay? So there's a fair number of games that have been added to Kickstarter over the last month, and I have backed some of them. Not all of them. In fact, there's actually less than I was expecting this month. So it's almost like some crazy things are happening in this world right now, and we've actually got to pay attention to those. But more on that later. So first thing is, I'm just going to do a quick update on all the projects I backed last month to see if it will tell you if they actually made it or not. First of all, Cursed Crew with 47,000 euros was able to make it across the line. They have already, they were able to reach a few soundtracks, though nothing too crazy. Just a few stretch goals, such as more soundtracks and a new map area. It should be said they did not reach as high as they were hoping, but I do appreciate seeing what they planned regardless. Another thing is they have already started sending out the creative tiers. So if you backed Cursed Crew and you have a creative tier, be sure to check your emails because they have already sent out information so you can put yourself in the game or put your flag into the game or whatever you've chosen. So that is good. Above Snakes, 56,000 euros also made it across the line. It made a couple of stretch goals, nothing too crazy, but you know, I'm just glad it made it across. Katori Academy. Now this game obviously was going to be one of the bigger games. It made £82,000, very good for it, and reached a fair number of stretch goals. So yay. Now Katori Academy was the life sim, the magical life sim, and I knew it would make it across the line, and in fact it had already made it across the line like the day it was funded. So I'm very happy to report that it had a nice, strong campaign, and we should be having Katori Academy at some point. Thirsty Heroes. Now, this was a game which did actually get close to not being around and not actually working out. However, it did manage to get across the line with 29,000 US dollars pledged, so that was great. Very glad about that. I'm going to have my drinks and all that other stuff that I backed for, which is fantastic. There is one game which is still on from last month as well. Mail Time. Currently only 57 hours, so there will be less when you get to backing it later. If you'd like to check out this trailer or the trailer for any of the games I've just given you a roundup on, be sure to check on my last video because it has all those details in there for you. Okay? Now, there was a couple of games which unfortunately were looking a little bit dicey at the end of last video, and I wasn't sure if they were going to make it. One was brand new, but it didn't have as strong as a start I would have hoped. And one of them, I don't know, it just seemed to stagnate a little bit in the middle there. But it's with a heavy heart that I have to say that Ignis Universe did make it with just over a skerrick over £10,000. So euros. I'm very happy that this made it. It was very much down to the wire. I even upgraded my own pledge by basically double because I wanted to see this make it, and it made it. And I was very happy about that. It's a really unique and colorful world, and I'm totally on board to see where this goes next. And of course, the other one which I was afraid may not make it was the Brew Barons. And it also made it with 23,000 Canadian dollars. So good on them. Good on the Brew Barons for making it across the line. I am so happy that everything that I wanted to back last month did manage to make it. Now, it should be said, there was a project that I was interested in and backed and then unbacked this time around. And I actually felt really bad about that, but they were flat. They were flatlining. I'm not going to showcase it just in case they decide to try and relaunch and try over again. I'll showcase them whenever that is. But unfortunately, there was one project I backed that failed. But anything I showcased to you did seem to go through, which is pretty great. So I'm happy about that. Now, obviously, this month we also have new games. So the first one, which we will look at. All right, so Ages of Kataria.
Hello and welcome to Kataria. Ages of Kataria is a village story generator where you'll choose your own ancestry, expand your town, and watch over the villagers who live there. Your villagers will age over 7 real-world weeks, experiencing glory and pain. As they live, your villagers will develop skills and personalities which will help them on adventures. Watch your villagers form friendships, family bonds, and romances. Assign your villagers to collect resources that your village needs. This will increase their skill level and make them more proficient at that job. Play mini-games around town to increase your villagers' skills and boost productivity. As you level up your buildings, your mini-games will level up in difficulty. Craft your town your way. Build from a wide selection of buildings and props to design your town to your aesthetic. When they aren't developing the village, your villagers will embark on text-based adventures that add to their life story and leave lasting impacts. However, every story must come to an end, and after 7 real-world weeks, your villagers will eventually pass away. As they pass, their souls will enter your town's spirit tree, where ancestors watch over your town, giving you advice and gifts from the spirit realm.
There are plenty of townspeople's stories to enjoy, and their offspring leave a legacy as your town's history grows.
Oh, don't forget the adorable animals that fill up your town. Try to collect the rarest.
I like the ducks.
Maybe you're monopolizing in one resource and need another. Don't worry, you'll be able to trade with friends online or an NPC village offline.
Seasons in Kataria will be reflected by the real-world seasons. Watch them pass as your village grows. Come set sail and enjoy Ages of Kataria.
Now, I must say, I am a little bit concerned about this one, for probably reasons that you got too. I'm getting a little bit of a mobile vibe when it comes to, say, the mini games and the real-world weeks and the trade with your friends online. However, it's just adorable, and I'm hoping that if those features don't work well, that this whole thing can just be reworked. Because it looks like the base here is pretty solid. And while I do not appreciate all the mobile game-like stuff, I do like their ambition, and I do like what they've done here. It looks really cool, looks really unique, and of course, there is something that is very important when you need to consider if you're backing this game or not, okay? So, and that is the fact that the duck dances. And if you're doubting me on the duck dancing, I think there was I forget where it was that they said this. I think it may have been funded in 10 hours when they did it. No, it wasn't that. The point is, these guys really have their finger on the buzzer when it comes to how what people want in life. You know, here it is. Look at it. Look how beautiful it is. Just bask. Okay, but anyway, so this game is already doing quite well. It has reached a series of stretch goals, none of which are particularly high difficulty to do, which is actually a good sign. So the idea that prop making, that might take a little bit of work, but customizing building colors won't take as much. Don't make it much. Trading animals, fair enough. But in general, these are pretty manageable stretch goals so far. And it's a pretty manageable thing. Now, it should be said, however, we've only got 9 days left, so how many more of those we make, I don't know. But the game itself looks really damn cute, and I'm totally on board for it. Now, as for our next game.
Raise and tame dragons. Explore the vast world in first person or third person, and build in top-down view. Build up your settlement. The lives of your people and dragons are on the line. Your ability to build a working infrastructure is crucial to their survival. Trade with different merchants. Buy and sell prices on their market may differ enormously. Farm, mine, and craft weapons, potions, and power-ups. Whenever you feel brave enough, attack to free the last remaining dragon eggs. Your enemy rules through fear. Monsters protect rare resources, so you better bring your dragon team to protect you. Dragons are your friends. Guild of Dragons. your settlement builder with dragon taming, exploration, and conquest for PC and Mac. Please support us.
Now, I must admit, this game's graphic style, it's something that I'm not sure I really like or not. It sort of gives me vibes of Myst, even. It almost gives me Mystish vibes, which is a good or a bad thing based on what you're thinking of, basically. But as you can see, it's a really interesting concept, especially if you were a fan of like How to Tame Your Dragon or whatever. It's also is obviously a city builder. It's got pet management. It's got exploration. It just seems like it's a really interesting game. It's one I'm a little bit unsure it'll actually get done, so I haven't backed it for a great amount of money currently. But it looks good. It looks interesting, so I'm willing to give it a go. So as you can see, it has reached a couple of stretch goals. Tame the Monsters Adventure Settlement, fast travel on your dragon above the clouds, etc. And then it's got a few more that are coming out soon. The Book of Dragons, once again, a little bit of How to Tame Your Dragon stuff there. And yeah, it looks very interesting and different, but at the same token, it also looks like it's I don't know, there's something about it that just seems a bit odd. I think it's because I think it must be like, anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, it looks interesting, and I'm willing to give it a go. And I like city builders, and I like dragons, so this seems like a pretty good one. So that's Guild of Dragons. Let's see the next one. Short and sweet there, because as I said, I try not to go to just these talking segments in general. But Raising Spire. So I think this one just looks very interesting. Its art style is very, interesting. Everything about it just makes me want to find out more about it. So I figured, while the art style and the whole like height and like the scale seems a little bit off, it also felt like something that I kind of just wanted to be a part of. Once again, I feel that's the pattern of these particular games I backed this week. There's nothing too crazy. It's nothing that really is jumping out at me as being stupidly exciting. However, there's a bunch of really interesting, unique games that I kind of want to get behind. So I'm happy about that. So yeah. All right, let's go see the next one now.
Love, the strongest feeling of all. But what would happen if someone tried to take this feeling away from you? What would you do for the one you love the most?
Alright, so this is Sons of Valhalla, and you're probably seeing straight away where this game is wearing its inspirations on its sleeve. It reminds me very much of Kingdom, but to a larger extent. So Kingdom is very much a survival game where you try and survive as long as possible, and at the same token, it does have some storyline. You are meant to live for a fairly long time, but this one seems like it takes the Kingdom concept and makes it go, well, quite a lot further. There's a few games like this nowadays. There's another one that's to do with, like, I believe mice as well. I quite liked, but yeah, I've got to say I have had a lot of fun with these 2D side-scrolling city builder games, and quite frankly, I figured why not just jump in and get it, because why not? It's a beautiful game, interesting technology behind it, and it just looked fun. So I definitely backed into that one. Not too high. Once again, it's one of those months. but I still decided to get it. Okay, so that's how we go. Actually, sorry, this is the last game, and I did not back it yet, but I'm very tempted by it. Now, I have got to admit, the more I listen and watch this, the more I kind of want to back it. And I probably will end up backing it, maybe even after this video, just because music alone. The character seems a little bit but the world seems really interesting. And as is what they've done here, what they've constructed here, this game actually looks really engaging. And I think that it definitely deserves to be made. So why not? Right? In fact, I might actually back this. Come to think of it. Yeah. I'm thinking I might actually back this. So, but point is, yeah, that's the last game for this month. I'm going to spotlight. It needs to be a game that actually speaks to me in certain ways. Like, it needs to have good gameplay in its trailer. It needs to have good graphics. It needs to have good style. It needs to have plenty of stuff backing it up. And I will back a game. I'll generally back games, even the ones I don't really appreciate too much, if I think I'll get something out of it. Be it soundtrack, be it even just a little bit of fun, or maybe a cameo. I'm definitely on board. But there's more ways to get games, and there's some more things I actually want to very quickly highlight. Now, you're probably well aware of the current situation in part of the world right now. There's a lot of people talking about it, and quite frankly, I'd be remiss if I did not mention some of these things as well in my video. Because, and not to try and profiteer, it's like the opposite. I'm trying to get more support for it, but there are several bundles out to help Ukraine at the moment. The biggest and most impressive one currently is the Bundle for Ukraine by itch.io, which is due to end in the next couple of days. So make sure you go in there if you get it soon. Now, it does have, and this is actually kind of shocking, almost 600 digital games. Now, none of them have Steam keys, unfortunately. But let's be honest, if you're getting this many games, this is perfect for someone who doesn't have very much money. You pay $10 and you get literally 600 games. Even if 3/4 of them are terrible, you're still getting a great deal. But let's have a look through and see, are these all terrible, or are there some interesting games here? And you know what? A large number of them are either games I've played or games that I've had on my Mountain of Shame. So I'm just going to spotlight a few important ones here. So if you're someone sitting there with not very much money and you're looking for a great value for money way of getting a boatload of games, this might be the perfect bundle for you. So, Nog, as you know, we did that on the Mountain of Shame, and it was quite charmingly adorable. Perfect for kids. Skatebird, I mean, it wasn't a fantastic game for me, but I love birds, so I'm never going to say no. Never have Evergate. Crosscode is a fantastic game. RPG. Gets quite difficult in the later sections. However, it's really quite fun. Action RPG, exactly what you want, really. Haven't heard of most of those. Wonder Song is one of my favorite games that I played in the last couple of years. It's about a guy who tries to save the world by singing, but he is not the hero. And that much becomes is drilled into him that he is not the hero. He is not the one who's meant to save the day. Does he? You guess you'll have to find out. Figment, as you know, has a great place in my heart. It also goes down as low as 99 cents, so chances are you already have it. But still, Figment is a fantastic game. Super Hot is a fantastic game. In fact, I'm pretty sure this one was added because last time I looked at it, it definitely did not have Super Hot. So, bravo. Obviously, more game developers are moving in on that, which is fantastic. This one here. 2064, Read Only Memories, a really interesting old school adventure game, sort of reminiscent of the old Neuromancer game, in that it's a cyberpunk dystopia with a little bit of detective stuff, which granted it didn't really have it in that, but it's quite interesting. I quite enjoyed my time with 2064. A Short Hike, I obviously did a video of and directly played the rest of the game after it, so can confirm that one's pretty damn great. Baba Is You, another game that we've played on this channel that I loved and was really engaged by. Nightcall, another game that I really enjoyed on this channel. So once again, something to do, something fun. Celeste, I had great things to say about Celeste, despite the fact it was a Metroidvania. I've heard good things about Moon Hunters as well, I believe, but I haven't personally played it yet. Minute, I haven't played it yet. I mean, I have played it. Oh, that's Minute Fun Race. That's not actually Minute. Okay, never mind. That's Minute down there. I have since played that on Mountain of Shame. It's just not out yet and probably won't be out for a while. In fact, some of these games, if you're like, wait, I've never seen him play that, it's probably coming. Let's just be honest. I am quite ahead on my recording for Mountain of Shame. And with all these new seasons like Subnautica, Stardew, Arceus, I'm finding it very hard to fit in all the episodes of the Mountain of Shame that I've already recorded. So I don't want to spam your inbox by releasing multiple videos a day. And I know there are some people who are actually starting to binge watch my backlog. So essentially, just know that I have been doing advanced. Jotun, I have a friend who swears by it. It's actually a really interesting game. Kind of basic, but quite fun. Bleed, I played that as well on my Mountain of Shame. Whether you've seen it or not yet, I do not know. But still, I've heard good things about Towerfall Ascension. Now, there's a bunch of games here which actually look quite interesting. But they also, keep in mind, a lot of these games are probably almost like tech demos more than actual games. Like you'll know some of these things like Baldi's Basics, Yum, historically. That's not going to be anything crazy, I'm sure. I mean, it could be. Who knows? Hidden Folks, that's actually a magic, like a hidden object game, which is pretty cool. And I've seen it played. It's quite fun. There's a few random visual novels here that I don't know if they're good or not. So there's that. As you see, there's bunches of games here. So yeah, actually, I think I played Bleed 2, not Bleed 1. Yeah, I forget if it was Bleed or Bleed 2. I think it was actually Bleed 2 or even Bleed 3 that I played, but still. I played Detective Case. It's not out yet, but I did not really like it at all. So there's that. I keep pushing that video back because I'm like, The Rusty Lake series, the Rusty Hotels, they're meant to be very good by people who play them. It's got quite the cult following. There's just a bunch of things. And a lot of things are quite surprising too. Like there's a bunch of really unique games here, which you may never have seen before. Now, I have yet to buy it yet, but I'm thinking I will. But I'm not sure if I should put these on my Mountain of Shame or not. Hero Hours Contract. It's a really small game, but I really love it. It's got a really great trailer too. So, but yeah, that's a fantastic game as well. Very, very simple and small, but also really great. And I'm definitely not biased now because I'm Kickstarter backer. But yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of interesting. Glittermitten Grove, that's a very unique and interesting game. Definitely worth playing. I know it doesn't look like it, but yeah, give it a go. Give it a go. It's definitely unique. But they've definitely had some more games since I last looked, because Delver wasn't there either before. In Bento is one I've wanted for, well, I see I've got it now, and it's about making bento boxes, so it seems very nice and chill. There's just so much here that if you're looking for a cheap way of adding like a ton of games to your library collection, you would definitely do worse than buying this game. Now, it's $10 minimum. They do encourage you to pay more if you can, because obviously the money is going to support the people impacted by the war. So if you gave like $20, this would still be a massive deal. Oh, Peck and Run. I don't know what that game is, but it sounds like it involves pecking and birds, and that sounds pretty great. Catlandia. Oh god, some of these titles are really strange. But yes. So yeah, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. And even if most of these games aren't good, the ones that are probably worth it. Oh, Summer and Mara, that's another. It's a full-on game, very fun. I still need to get back and play that. In fact, I put it back on my mountain. I played a little bit when it was first out, but I haven't played enough of it. So I've actually put it back on my Mountain of Shame so I can play it again properly. Essentially, it's another game I backed on Kickstarter. It's about a small girl who's lives on an island alone and does farming and has her little life there. But you go exploring and finding other mountain islands and stuff. I haven't played very much of it. I just really feel bad about that fact. And yeah, look, it just keeps going. And while a lot of these games are probably pretty a lot of them pop up and you're like, oh, actually, that looks quite interesting. So, and I wasn't implying that I wasn't saying that to the one with the anime girls. It just so happened to be where I was pointing and looking at the time when I said that. So yeah, that's one. That is one bundle. There is another bundle currently on Steam. It's called the Help Ukraine Bundle. There's something about this logo I quite like. It's a unofficial bundle by a few devs, not too many, but they are also apparently going to be donating all the proceeds to Ukraine. I say apparently because obviously I can't know for sure. But you'd hope so. There's a few games here which are quite good as well. A few that I own and will be playing, and I'll probably end up buying this as well because it's thankfully one that says individual products you don't own, so you can actually, if you've already owned a few of these games, get back. When the Past was around is on my wish list. Simiclara looks really interesting. That looks terrifying. Move or Die looks but Whispering Heroes I own and sounds quite interesting. Calico, it was recently, I believe it came out in the Humble Bundle a couple of months ago. It's quite good. And of course the Beasts of Maravella Island, which is basically Pokemon Snap. Now it should be said, I'm currently recording this video on the 15th of March. So take this with a grain of salt. However, there's also some upcoming bundles which have been rumored, as you can see here by W Jousts on Reddit. Essentially, they have announced, different people have announced different things. So Humble Bundle is actively working on an all-to-charity bundle to help the victims and refugees from Ukraine. And this will be coming out, hopefully, it could be coming out tomorrow. I'm guessing what they're going to do is they're going to wait for the itch bundle to end, and then they'll do their bundle. That's usually what happens with this. And Fanatical, I don't usually cover Fanatical bundles too much, but Fanatical is also doing a interesting looking bundle. Well, it says interesting, but every bundle costs at least $10, but has the option to pay more. And the bundle will end after 3 weeks or after selling 10,000 copies. So Fanatical isn't a website I am fanatical about, but it is something which is definitely worth at least looking at. Now, there are also a couple of bundles on Humble that I'm still umming and ahhing about whether I actually want them or not. The first is, there we go, the Humble Heroines Collection. So I'm humming and hawing about this one because I already own a lot of the games. I own Bloodstained, I own Celeste, I own Cloudpunk, and I own Tacoma. However, the games that are left are actually quite expensive. Scarlet Nexus is a pretty interesting looking RPG game, JRPG, and those things very rarely drop in price. Severed Steel Doesn't look like anything special, but you know, why not? And Gears 5, which, well, it's Gears, so yeah, it's fair. So as you can see, like I'm not sure if I want this bundle or not. I kind of want to buy it for Scarlet Nexus alone, and obviously keep the keys if I ever want to give them out to a friend or something. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure currently what I'm going to do there, whether I'm going to buy it. The other bundle, which is currently going, is a little bit more interesting in terms of how many games I'd actually be added to my mountain, but it's got its own issues too. So, first of all, this is the Boomer Shooters bundle, and the Boomer Shooters bundle has a bunch of stuff here about Medieval, Iron Fury, Dusk. So a lot of these games actually look quite good. They're all old school FPS games created in the moniker of like the Dooms and the Duke Nukem 3Ds and stuff like that, and the Rise of the Triads and the Hexens and the, you know, all that sort of jazz. They look quite engagingly interesting. So if you are a fan of shooters, you may wish to have a look at this bundle as well. So this bundle ends in 10 days, and the other bundle ends in 8 days. So you've got plenty of time to make up your mind on that. You can also see what the other bundle is going to be. So that'll also be an option as well. But yeah, that is basically where we're at for this this week. So there were a few others which looked interesting, such as this VR museum piece, but that's more like buying a ticket than it is actually buying a game. Now, it should be said you do actually get to keep this, but it didn't really engage me too much. Haven't looked at Gears of Eden yet. It might be good, but I'm guessing it won't get funded, so it's a shame. One new release here. I didn't bother looking at that one, I admit. There's a few things here that I was just like, you know, I don't really care that much. But, you know, there's still a few interesting things out there. If you're really liking lewd content, for example, there's a game just a little bit further down, I believe, where it is. If it's even going to show up. No, not that one. Oh yeah, that's the one I really wished had made it, but completely fell dead on its feet. And I really hope it does. I hope I can spotlight it again. It looked like it was really made with a lot of love, and I felt really bad that I pulled out of it, just because it wasn't going to get funded, which is a shame. So yeah. Anyway, in fact, that lewd game I was talking about is not coming up. Oh, there it is, Love Cipher. But it's not. It's not looking. It's going to get funded either. It's just a visual novel with nudity and all that sort of jazz. Anyway, so yeah, if you like what you saw here, all the links will be in the description down below for all the various games and bundles mentioned today. If you'd like to do that, if you'd like to buy that. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this Eruption of Shame. And let's hope we actually had some good stories and good stuff going on for this. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.